Good morning. This morning I want to do a part 2 on the cost of a bad diet. I've been thinking about what topic I wanted to do this morning, and my brain just started reliving the emotional cost of the diet I have chosen all my life. And a lot of it is the diet we were taught to choose. So I've discussed on here before the depression issues that I had, and how when I went to keto, depression cleared up, and the foggy head cleared up, and energy came back, and how much better I feel. But there could be people sitting on the fence wondering what to do, or feel like they can't, or feel like they've been a failure all their life. What would make this any different? I know there are people feeling that way because I did. And I know that I'm not some kind of superhuman mega one who has the market on not feeling good. So knowing that tells me that there are others who are feeling the same way I felt. And the purpose of these videos is to encourage and motivate. Even if it's myself, I'm encouraging and motivating. Um, so if you know someone who's struggling emotionally with issues like depression, anxiety, self-doubt, show them the video. They're not alone. We're not alone. That there's a lot of people who are struggling with this who are silent about it. I was never silent. Keeping my mouth shut, that's just not one of the things that I have problems with. Some of the emotional issues involved or that circle around a poor diet are some things that we don't even attribute to the diet. Like I mentioned, depression, anxiety. Although I'm just going to lay this out there, I'm not for sure how much of those issues are actually emotional and how many of them are just downright physiological. But since I've mentioned before, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a survivor. I'm not going to categorically state that because I don't want to cause anybody who happens to run across my videos, I don't want to cause them any harm. But if I can throw some food for thought out there to give them some control over their situation, I'm willing to do that. You know, if I can encourage some research and motivate some improvements, then I'm willing to do that. Some of the emotional aspects that go along with a poor diet, and I mean poor diet to the point where you have physiological issues like depression, anxiety, obesity, diabetes, arthritis, joint pains of all kinds. You know, it affects your body. What you fuel your body with will affect your body. Like your car, I've mentioned this um, scenario before. You wouldn't put diesel fuel in your regular fuel vehicle because it'll gum it up and kill it. You wouldn't put regular gas in your diesel vehicle because it'll gum it up and kill it. The same thing. You put poor food in your body, you're going to gum it up and kill it. So it's important that we understand the cost of having a poor diet. Last one was the cost, financial cost. That's easy for people to see because you're spending your money on medication, you're spending your money on doctors, you're spending your money on $1,000 arch supports in your shoes so that you can walk across the room. You're spending the money having to travel to go get clothes because the town you live in don't have them in large size. You spend the money. Today, let's talk about the emotions that are spent. The the things that cost that you don't even think about being associated with diet. Depression, anxiety are the top two that I go to because those were the two of the very life, almost life ending issues that I struggled with. But I won. I no longer struggle. I no longer have those issues. I am genuinely happy now. I'm not putting on a fake face in front of people. I'm not I'm not coming up with stupid jokes just to hide my depression. And that's a little sad because for a while I thought, I had a daughter, my oldest mentioned one time, Mom, I ought to take you to the loony bin on open night mic night. You'd just kill him because everything was a joke. I laughed. I made everyone around me laugh. I had a sense of humor, some of it appropriate, some of it not. But as long as I was making people laugh, I wasn't thinking about how bad I hurt. And so I thought one day, I wonder if I did a comedy routine on my YouTube. Would that be fun? I could not think of a stinking joke to tell. Because the things that I thought of was like, no, that's self-debasing. That insults myself, and I'm not doing that anymore. No, that I don't know that that's really funny anymore. Just little snippets of things that I would do to take the focus off of my weight and put it somewhere else. And for me, it was humor. I still have a sense of humor. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Keto did not kill my sense of humor. Nope, nope, nope. I'll get the joke and I'll laugh right along with anyone, and I'm not bashful or shy about it. I just lost one of my main comedy materials, and that was being mean to myself. I'm not doing that anymore. I have found a new worth and a new value in myself that I haven't had for 53 years, and it's nice and I like it. Another emotional cost of a poor diet comes from outside. If you're blatantly struggling with diet issues and you get, let's say, you apply for a job and there's you, overweight, clothes are ill fitting because, well, it was difficult to find clothes that fit, and energy levels are low. You're walking kind of, I was, I called my walk the walk of the drunk duck because my feet, my knees, and my hips hurt so bad that I waddled and grimaced every time I did. And you put someone in my place next to someone who was physically healthy and tried to get the same job, I guarantee I wouldn't have got the job. And it's not that they're prejudiced against fat people. There's no um, victimization there. It's because when a employer has to look out for their business and they're hiring, they are going to hire the best person for the job, and the best person is one who can physically do the job. I don't care if it's a desk job. If you're out for diabetes issues or you can't make it because you've got a plethora of doctor's appointments, but the thin person is there every day, it only makes sense that your diet choices cost that job. Then there are the meanness, the emotional drama of some people who are just mean spirited, just hateful. And they'll get theirs. They'll get theirs. We don't have to fight them. We don't. We gain our own self worth and self confidence, and they get off. I don't care. I was at the post office one time, mailing a package, and I mean, it's a big wide hall. They could have got around me, but I was I was doing the drunk duck walk because, I had to go up the ramp to get in. So I just uphilled it, and I'm huffing and I'm waddling, and I'm mailing a package, and some yay-hole behind me. See how he did that? Kept it clean, didn't I? Anyway, behind me goes, "Oh my God, get your fat ass out of my way." I mean, I didn't know him from Adam. He didn't know me from anybody. He could have went around me, but no, nope. He felt like it was his place in life to inform me of the size of my behind. Like I don't ever have to put jeans on it myself. Like I haven't ever bought clothes for it. Like I've never seen it in the mirror. He felt the need to inform me that my behind was fat, and he was disgusted with it. It wasn't going home with him. Oh heavens. He wasn't having to feed it. I was livid. He told me, he says, "Why don't you go home until you lose some of that cow ass?" And I could not help myself. Mm-mm. I turned around and told him, "For the same reason you don't go home until you grow three great brain cells." I might be fat. I can go on a diet and I can lose weight, but I don't care how many books you eat. You're not going to grow a brain cell. And I marched off. Why was that necessary? He wouldn't have went to someone who was thin and hatefully point out a physical attribute in such a hateful way. People think that if you're heavy, you don't care. And I'm telling you, heavy people care the most. Care the most. The emotional drainage of going to the doctor, and their big answer to everything is just lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And you just don't go because you know what they're going to say. You have a hangnail, you need to lose weight. I had one time when I was younger, I was in my 30s, decided I was going to go back to school and go to college. Now, I'm a little bit type A, and I'm a little bit obsessive. Not necessarily obsessive compulsive because, well, I'm disorganized, but I am obsessive. So when I decide I'm going to do something, I go all the way or none of the way. So when I decided I was going to go to school and take some criminal justice classes, and decide which angle I was going to go with that, I was going to be a probation officer, or what I wanted to do, therapist. I even thought about that. Um, I had to ask for special seats. Everyone's familiar with school desk. You've got the little little platform and your little chair that's connected to it, and probably about that space between the table and the chair. Well, my butt, thighs, and bellies were about that space. So for every class that I went into, I had to sit at the very front of the class, which is, that part didn't bother me having to sit at the front of the class because I was focused on the front of the class because it's all or nothing. But still, I was, I think, 31 when I went. And at 31 years old, you really don't want to have to be the special person in the class. And I would sit at the front, and they would set a desk up with the chair, regular table and chair for Condi and every class. And I sat there by myself. I didn't let that stop me, but it bothered me emotionally. It was an emotional cost of a bad diet. And then taking 18 college credit hours at the time, plus 4 children at home and married and everything, I got a cold. Now, with this cold, I kept on plugging away because that's what you do when you're type A. You get a cold, get a Kleenex, drink some chicken boy and go to work. Yeah, drink some NyQuil and go to class. It settled in my lymph nodes. So the day before Thanksgiving, I noticed I have a knot right in front of my ear. That's weird. And I couldn't kind of mess with it a little bit, but no big deal. I just plugged on. We're headed into finals, and I noticed that knot kind of felt a little puffy in my neck and up. And when I touched it, it was a little tender. And then into my eye was swollen shut. My whole face, jaw was swollen. But it's like, that's weird. I wonder what that is. People were like, you need to get a doctor. And I said, yeah. So I arranged a doctor appointment in between my classes and went. Had some CAT scans and stuff, and yeah, you've got infection in your lymph nodes. Here's some antibiotics, and I took those, but it wasn't making it any better. I had my last final before an update, the doctor's appointment. I'm talking like hours before. And he's like, this isn't getting any better. And I'm not liking the way it looks. You're going to the hospital. Nice. We're in the holiday season. I have 4 small children. And instead of Christmas shopping, instead of getting ready for Christmas stuff for the kids at school and family things and stuff, I'm going to the hospital. Doctor said it was your weight. Because of your weight, your immune system's been compromised and your circulatory system is compromised. So after I get out of the hospital, which I got released from the hospital on Christmas Eve, mind you, 4 small children, family, and I spent Christmas season in the hospital. I get out of the hospital, and my doctor, and I was working with 2 doctors, put me on Fin. I tells you how long ago this was. Help me lose weight. You need to lose weight. You've got to lose weight, whatever it's going to take. Now, I found out later I got copies of my medical records. My doctor, my primary doctor, put in there for prognosis, not good. She's not going to beat it. She will always have obesity. But we're going to try this. So what else is there to try? It was a slap in my face when I read that. Prognosis, not good. Go to the dietitian. She's like, you need to eat 6 meals a day. You need to make sure you get lots of fruits and vegetables. You need to eat whole grains. I said, 6 meals a day? What if I'm not hungry 6 times a day? It doesn't matter. You have to do it. And take your pills. One of the side effects with fen is it affects your short-term memory. I didn't realize that. So I start my second semester at college. Now, when I started my first semester of college, I was starting with a 3.8 GPO. Now, mind you, it'd been like 13 years since I'd been in school, since I sat in a classroom. So jumping right into some pretty intense classes and carrying a 3.8 GPO, that, with everything else going on, that's pretty stinking amazing. And I had a chemical addiction therapist or counselor teacher who was also my psychology teacher the last semester. Psychology I aced. And we had the first test. And on the definition of alcoholic, I sit there and I just looked at the paper. I couldn't answer the question. Her psychology class, I aced hands down. No problem. Zero. None. Chemical addiction therapy class or counseling class, I got a 40% on that test. We were getting ready to go out of class. She says, Condi, stop, let's talk. What's going on? I don't know. I don't know. I started bawling. I don't know. She said, have you started any new medication? And I told her about the fen. She goes, that has a side effect of affecting short-term memory. You need to stop it. By that point, I was already flunking. I was getting letters from the dean. I was on probation. But I didn't want to stop. No, I've got to get this weight loss. If this is the only way, this way to go, I got to get it off. So instead of stopping the fen, I stopped school. I flunked out. The emotional cost of a bad diet. When you start calling yourself a failure, when you start believing you can't, when you make fun of yourself just so that you can do it before someone else gets a chance, when you get passed up for jobs or promotions because your diet has your health so poorly affected. When you lose your businesses because your diet prevented you from working them the way they needed to be worked. That's the cost. That is a huge emotional cost of a poor diet. And we're not just talking the bucket up buttercup emotional slump. We're talking the deep, knife twisting, emotional pain that goes with having a poor diet. Children, strange children in a grocery store who'll look at you and go, "Why are you fat?" And the moms are like, "Shh, be quiet. No, that's not very nice. Be quiet." Children can't help it. They're children. The moms are teaching them. They're correcting them. It doesn't change that emotional twist of the knife. No, it's not bad parenting that the children said anything. It's not the children being little monsters. Children are curious and they're going to ask questions, and that's what makes them beautiful. It wasn't the outside thing hurting. It was the diet, the food choices. And I'm not about any kind of guilt or anything, but I am about ownership. If you own that, you can change it. If you own it, you control it. So as long as things on the outside are being blamed, then you're passing the buck and you're passing the responsibility, you're passing the power to something on the outside. It wasn't the boss being a discriminatory bigot passing you up for your job because you're overweight. By pointing at that, you're giving him the power or her the power. There's emotional healing in getting healthy above and beyond just depression and anxiety. There's that emotional power that you get when you succeed. There's that emotional high you get when you've done something you haven't been able to do for a long time. You want another emotional sadness? And it was my diet. But as I mentioned in another video, one of the things I like to do is shoot real guns. Yeah. And there is a competition called IDPA, and International Defensive Pistol Association. And it's a fun competition. And I went one time when I was thinner. And I'm planning on going again. But right now I can't. I'll tell you why. JR shoots it once in a while. And I think that'd be a fun date night. We'd go out, do a little shooting. IDPA competition. Not shoot each other. Not the last man standing type of competition, no. But one of the regulations with the IDPA is the positioning of the gun. You wear it on your hip, and the barrel must be lined up with the seam of your pant leg. With the way I carry my weight, I have a fairly small upper, fairly small. I do have my bat wings, but then I have very broad hips. And if I put my gun on the hip, it sticks out because it rides on top of that hip. Which means now that barrel is pointing at anybody that's walking beside me to a degree. I mean, it's a little angled, but it would disqualify me. When I do carry, I carry what's called appendix. I carry at the front of my hips where it's a little flatter. My gun point down, but that's not allowed in IDPA. So until I get some more poundage off these hips, there's a fun pastime JR and I could do together. We can't do right now. And that's a little bit of an emotional slap. It's not, I don't expect them to change the regulations. That's arrogant of me. But I am going to I am changing my diet, eating healthy, and this way of eating is excessively healthy. It's very healthy. I know right now it's kind of controversial, but it has been for years and years and years and years. And every time they try to prove it to be unhealthy, they haven't been able to. It's it. Doctors have found themselves in court over it, only to have their cases dismissed with um, no evidence to show that it's unhealthy. Evidence contrary to the other that's shown it's extremely healthy. I don't want this to be a very long video. I mean, 30 minutes is long enough. But just remember, each time you pick up that bag of potato chips, each time you pick up that Snickers bar, the cost isn't just the dollar you pay for that Snickers bar. The cost is to your physical body and your emotional health. And it's huge. That is one expensive candy bar. Put it down. Save that cost. Pick up a piece of bacon instead. And start reaping the benefits of getting a good, healthy diet, physically or financially and emotional. And the next video I'm going to do is the physical cost. Right now, we're just talking about the emotional cost. Yeah. The emotional pain of having a stranger just land blast you in public. The emotional pain of having to be singled out, whether it be at school or having to ask for extensions on the airplane seatbelt or not fitting in the seat, crowding out the person next to you because the seats aren't very wide in an airplane. The emotional cost of having to ask, does your motel have elevator? I need on a ground floor because I can't climb the stairs. The emotional pain of missing job opportunities and promotions because the employer is nervous that physically you won't be able to live up to their standards. The emotional cost. And the children are facing it too because our children are obese. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I'm telling you, this, the light at the end of that tunnel, when you get it right, is not the train coming. It's the sun shining. And it is so, so liberating to know that you are once again in control, and you are once again in power, and you are once again the master or mistress of your body and your heart and your soul. And I'm telling you, when you get there, you never want to leave it again. You never want to leave. Last night at Bible study, there was Fritos on the table. There was cinnamon rolls on the table. There were cookies on the table. I, honest to goodness, and I'm not even churching it up here, I was not tempted because the cost is too high. To me, it'd be like saying I went to the jewelry store and I was just so tempted to get a diamond ring. The cost is too high. And I'm not. And you can get there. You can get there. Getting healthy is about 85%. Oh, let's actually go 75 because I heard one doctor say 75% of all people who are in the hospital are there because of lifestyle. About, I think he said 75% of all of our diseases is lifestyle, diet. What are you fueling your body with? And imagine how much happier, emotionally free you would be if you felt good all the time, if you were flexible, if you were physically able, if you were moving, if you were just healthy. If you know someone who's struggling because of emotional connections to food, please feel free to share this video. I'm not preaching. I'm trying to encourage and motivate. And like I've said before, if I'm the only person who sees this, I'm encouraging, motivating myself. This is a journey, and I welcome anybody to join the journey with me who wants to. Love you. Have a good day. Stay happy, stay warm, and stay dry if you're in the rainy areas of this country right now. So have a good time. Enjoy life. You only get one. See you later. Bye-bye.